Okay, for collector for ArcGIS, that I have iPhone 6s Plus that I do use ArcGIS collector to collect data, and it was fun to use. Um, the only thing is the battery, and if you use GPS for iPhone, the battery won't last that much. You have to carry a charger with you. So other than that, you have to set up for your collector on the web application, then your collector should work. So that it's a free app. The navigator will charge you money, and the Explorer, ArcGIS Explorer for the iPhone apps is free. You can view all the maps, but this one you could collect data. So now use collector by supervisor. You view map for all graffiti calls that are new and need supervisors field review, correct location of graffiti sites if in error points, pointing to map or using current location, and enters today's date for date and terminated or date approved as appropriate. Select graffiti type code and removal type code from job lists and type artist name and value work time estimate. And prepare data in ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online for use in collector. Create and apply code value domains in Pro for collector. All fields that are coded need code value domains built in ArcGIS Pro. So graffiti type code with value tag, piece, throw up, and other, and removal type code with values, paint, power wash, scrape, and solvent. With code value domains, the domain code values are allowable values for entry, and that we also have at the same time we also have can apply code value domain each value class that uses the code field in Pro. So scrape and solvent. All right, and we will have configure pop up in ArcGIS Online. So we publish graffiti calls, needing reviews in ArcGIS Online and add them to an online map. Create pop-ups for web layer with graffiti calls and the fields included, and their order determines the data editing and input from created in collector. So we put different information there, and okay. Alright, so now we're gonna go, don't save. Alright, we're gonna go tutorial 1. That I already mentioned that we have the model. So the first one is the identify graffiti for removable model maps for all graffiti sites that are supervised as approved for removal, but there have not yet had graffiti removed. And the calculate optimal route models uses network analysis, analyst analysis tools to calculate the optimal route for a set of graffiti sites selected by the supervisor for removal. The supervisor can create one or more routes for a week with multiple rounds for the model, and each time a route is created, its graffiti sites are automatically removed from consideration in designing additional routes for the week. And the record route results model saves an optimum route as feature class. So each time the supervisor calculates the route to follow, and she uses this model to record its results and make a map of the route and provide driving directions for the graffiti removal employee. And now we will do is before the actual graffiti removal, the supervisor must visit and survey each reported graffiti site. The supervisor may not approve graffiti removal for several reasons, because some 311 calls may give incorrect locations, some graffiti may have inaccessible locations, and some private property owners may not allow graffiti removal at their location. So that's something we have to be aware with when you work on some project. We can make a list for that. Inaccessible location, so private property owner may not allow you to do that. An incorrect location. So then the last one, we will build a collector for ArcGIS application so that the classifies graffiti by type, determine a method for removal, and estimates the work and time, and enters data. Alright, so now we're going to start it. The first one, the map has the following layer, and I don't need a task right now. I really don't like the task thing. It's good to have some workflow, but sometimes you just do the work and you don't have to make a task and make steps. You can document it in Word document, but I really don't like that. Alright, so and the dashboard, it's good to explore it. It depends on the user if the user need it. And then of course you have to spend time and money to get the dashboard and the charts and tables. But I think you could do it using Excel or some other software to do it for dashboard. And the map following layers, we have a garage, and the location of the public works department garage, that is the start and end of every route. And graffiti calls the up-to-date map layer of graffiti calls Pittsburgh, the boundary of Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh Street. Network, network dataset based on Pittsburgh Tiger Streets. So now we're going to turn off the graffiti calls. Turn this off, okay. And we will build a model to query sites for graffiti removal. So the first we will talk about query. The first model identifies two kinds of sites that need graffiti removed, and graffiti that the public works supervisor has approved but not yet scheduled for removal. Graffiti that has been scheduled for removal but not removed for some reason, for example, because an employee ran out of time or supplies. Although it is possible for you to implement both criteria, for simplicity, we will only implement the first one, also the main one. We will also use 3 attributes on graffiti calls to retrieve graffiti for scheduled removal. Date approved is the date that a supervisor approved a 311 graffiti site to have its graffiti removed. Date scheduled is the date that the supervisor assigned to remove graffiti from a site. Date finished is the date that graffiti was removed from a site. The expression for query 1 for case 1 is here. Date approved is null, and the date scheduled is null. So this compound query expression retrieves graffiti calls that have been approved but not yet scheduled for removal if date approved is null, meaning that it has a date entered. The graffiti has been approved for removal by the supervisor. If date scheduled is null, meaning that no date has been entered for date scheduled. The graffiti removal has not been scheduled. With the expressions joined with the AND connector, and then both expressions are true, the graffiti is a candidate for including in a route for removal. The expression of query 2 for case 2 is date scheduled smaller than current date, and date finished is null. So current date has the current date for the computer calendar, so the expression date schedule less than current date finds all graffiti sites scheduled in the past. The expression date finished is null, finds all graffiti sites that have not yet had a graffiti removed. Together connected with an and, the expression also finds graffiti that was scheduled but not removed. So query 1 and 2 are combined with an or, meaning that if either is true, a corresponding graffiti call is retrieved for scheduling a new route. As soon as the route is scheduled, its date approved attribute is given a date value so that query 1 is false, and the graffiti calls is not retrieved for additional scheduling. So we will make the feature layer tool to create a layer for graffiti calls that must be scheduled on the basis of just the first query expression. So here we will expand the toolbox. So now expand the toolbox. All right. There. And then we will right click on it, go to new model, and then the model opens here, new model. So in the catalog pane, we will rename the model as a remove. Okay, this model I will name it. All right, not open it. Okay, right click on it. Just click save. Save. I don't remember if we can just right click on it and put rename. Oh no, my mouse. Right click on it. I think, let's see, save it. I didn't put anything yet. So let's just put a tool in it. Okay, tools. All right. Calculate a field. Okay, so I drag a tool here, so now I can save it. All right, close it out and close this out and right click on it. Oh, I cannot rename this way. It's just so weird. I used to right click on it and I can rename it, but now I don't. So identify graffiti for removal. And on the analysis toolbar, we will find make feature layer tool. So now I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna delete this. And I really don't like docked there. And I have to resize it again for all the time. Alright, so now I will say make feature layer. Alright, that's the first one. We drag it and put in our model. So click anywhere in the model window to remove the grab handles from the make feature layer process and its output. So we right click on make feature tool and then we can say open, or you can double click on it. So now we're going to fill out the information here. For input features, we will see graffiti calls. And for output layer, we will type graffiti removal. Graffiti calls for removal. And then for the SQL, we add a clause. So the first one, date approval. Okay, equals to not now. Date approved is not now. Okay, click add. The connector, it will be end, okay, and then date schedule is now. Date schedule is now. There, click add. Perfect. So graffiti calls for removal, and date approved is not now, and date schedule is now. Click OK, and we resize the elements. The model elements get color indicating that they are ready to run. So we can right click the output and for graffiti for removal, and we will say add to display. So this option adds the graffiti for removal map layer to the map after we run the model in the current edit mode. So we will right click the feature layer and click run. So right click and make feature layer and click run. So graffiti for removal is created and added to the map. If the model has an error, the error will be printed in the red text. So I don't see anything. So we should have something here. right here. And then on the map, we will see 14 graffiti sites that must be scheduled with one or more routes. So now we will turn off the cause layer. I already did. Let's see.